Hello, friends. I just finished my yard sale. I am so sunburned. I can't even tell you how sunburned I am. And I'm wearing my happy shirt. I always wear black because I get so dirty in the yard sale lifting up boxes and my hands get filthy. And some lady's like, "You're really hot. You should wear white." And I said, it'd be black no matter what color I was wearing. I'm carrying all this dirty garage stuff. Anyway, I wanted to just do a really quick update. I shared last year that I made $2,200, over 2,000, whatever, at my yard sale, and I gave tips on how to do it. And I just showed you at the beginning, I made over 2,200 again on my yard sale. And the first two, I didn't do it on the first Friday, and the Saturday it rained all day. I couldn't do it. I didn't do it on Sunday, and Monday I had to put all the wet stuff that had dried back out. I didn't do it on Monday. So this year's yard sale, so I missed the really out of town people that come in for this thing that they come in for. So I didn't think I would do as well. So I had the yard sale since it was already out for the weekend that I couldn't do it anyway. I went ahead and did it for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and today is Saturday. And my goal was to make $200 a day. But my bigger goal is to clean out my garage and get rid of all the eBay stuff that I've had for 25 years stored in there that I couldn't get to. So every day I would put out a couple more boxes from the past. And I'm sorry, I didn't realize that light was on when I did this. I'll try and sit like this. Anyway, so every day I would get out a couple more boxes. Now, I did not get out all the eBay stuff. I still have about 20 boxes, but those boxes had been out last year. There's only about 5 boxes left that I haven't been through, and it's all like small things that, like postcards and slides that I think might sell on eBay, or I know they would sell on eBay because they're unique things. But nobody's going to buy them at a yard sale. So there was about 5 or 6 boxes that I still have. But in the meantime, I was able to clear out a lot of stuff, and I just clearanced it really cheap. So my goal is when I sell the stuff that I have for eBay, I sell it for just under half of what I would get online, so that the people who go to yard sales to get deals to sell online can still make some money on it. And then I clear it out of my garage. So I could at some point put it all online, but the problem is it's taking up the space in my garage, and it's been there for 25 years. So, well, 23, I shouldn't say 25. So yeah, about 23 years, because I started doing it right as soon as it opened up, and then I did it for 2 or 3 years and had a huge feedback and everything, and then lost it in the divorce, and then just never got back into it until recently, this last year. But different things sold back then than they sell now. And so at the yard sale, I just sold all the stuff stuffed animals back then. I'd collect them. I still have like 7 Alfs. You know, you'd find them and then you put them together and sell them on a lot. But there's so many stuffed animals out there now. Raggedy Ann and Andy and all those collectible Garfield, all those were really popular back 25 years ago. But now they're just everywhere because there's Mercari and Marketplace and Amazon and Etsy and eBay, and there's just so many little specialty shops that it's so hard to do online. So anyway, so I sell the things that I have that have been sitting there, and I don't have time to put on there because my goal is to put the bigger items on there, so I only have to spend an hour listing one thing and make a couple $100 versus posting 50 little things that take me forever to post. So last year's video, if you haven't watched it, it's a bunch of tips, and it talks about things. I did the same thing. I took bids. I put the bigger things up on the table. Last year I showed a lawn tractor, and my tip for this year is don't let people intimidate you, and don't get in the fear mode that you won't have. Sorry, I'm going to try and center it so I'm in front of the light. So I had that lawn tractor, and I put it on the front table right where everybody would see it. And every person, all the guys stopped, all the men got out and said how much for the tractor. Now, you kind of have to know what you have when you find something, because there are those lawn tractors, sprinklers that are in yellow and green, and you can buy those currently. But the red ones are really, really hard to find. So I did my research, and they're like over $150 online to buy them, because the top parts of the sprinklers break off, the little whirly part. So I tried to sell it online, but shipping it's cast iron, so shipping was a ton. So I put it on the front of the table. Now it didn't sell till last night, and people kept saying, "You're not going to get that out of it." I wanted $100, and people said, "You're not going to get that out of it." And I said, "I know what I have," and they were getting mad at me. And everybody's like, "Well, I'll give you $10 for that thing, vintage unicycle. I'll give you," and then they're like, "You're asking too much." But you have to stick with your guns, because if you know what you have and you know how much it's worth, don't let people bully you, because people were giving me a really hard time about that tractor, and there was one or two other items that I knew how much they were worth, and I didn't want to go less. And it's between you and, I know what the other one was. I had a porta potty that's like the old school wooden porta potties with the little arms and a hole in it, and then there's a tray underneath that you open the back and you pull the bedpan out. I have an antique medical collection, and I knew that I wanted to keep that with the medical collection unless I could make enough of selling it separately. So I had it for $75. Everybody stopped and asked about it because they all want it on their porch with a flower coming out of the pot. And they'd get mad when I'd say, "Well, that's too much." And I said, "Well, if it was less than that, it would be sold and you wouldn't even have seen it. So I don't know why you're getting mad at me. I just ignore them and let them go." And last night, a young couple came by, and they immediately picked up that red tractor and put it by their car. And I was like, "Wait, where did my tractor go?" And they're like, "Oh, we're getting it." And I said, "It's $100." And they said, "We don't care. We know. That's fine." And I said, "So you know what you have, right?" And he goes, "Yeah, we've been looking for years for a red one." So, but it's funny because they all asked about the red one and they all wanted the red one, and they all said, "Well, we have the yellow one and we have the green one." And I'm like, "Great, but you don't have the red one." So I got $100 for that tractor. And then that chamber pot, I was not going to sell it for less because I was going to keep it with the collection. So somebody I knew came up and she said, "How much is it?" And I said, $75. And she's like, "Well, will you come down?" I said, "No, because I will keep it with the collection. I know what I have, and that's what I will feel comfortable selling it at that price." And so she paid me the $75 for it, and I was like, "Oh, good, that's out of my garage now." I didn't even think about storing it space-wise. I was just like, "Oh, yay, it's out of my garage." But I got the $75 I wanted out of it. So stick to your guns. And there was a guy that was buying a tool from me, and he was there for he came back 3 times. And it was a Craftsman scroll saw, and he harassed me. I wanted $100. It hardly had been used. He wanted to pay $50. They harassed me and walked behind me and harassed me. And I live in a small town, and I didn't want to offend him. And I finally said, "If you give me $75 right now and leave, I'll give it to you." He didn't know what he was doing. He'd never used one. He went home. He turned it on, trying to figure it out while it was going, and dropped the screw down. Then he brought it back and wanted his money back. And of course, being a small town, I gave it back to him, but I shouldn't have sold it to him. I should have stuck to my guns and said I want $100 for it, and then I wouldn't have had it broken now, and because I didn't listen to myself. So for the most part, I was really good this year. I didn't deal with the negative people. I just ignored them. Like I had somebody just throw something down and walk away because he didn't say excuse me. I didn't even know he wanted to talk to me. He just was kind of hanging around. But they all kind of want to come and visit. It's a small town. And so, and I had another guy that he's like, "How much are your talk CDs?" And I pay $5 for them, $5 for them. And I was selling them for $2, and I felt that was fair. He got a handful of them, and he said, "Will you take 10 for these?" And I said, "No, I will take $2 each for them." Then he put something else in with them and said, "Would you take," and he added $2, but he threw more stuff in. "Would you take that for it?" And I said, followed me around, and I said, "No, I think the prices are fair." He put a rice cooker in with it. He wanted the rice cooker and all of those things for the price of the things. And I said, "No, I will not do that." So then he put the rice cooker back. He came back and he said, "Would you take 10 for these?" And I said, "I have told you I want $2 each for those CDs. I pay twice that or more. I'm giving you a deal already." I said, "I know you want to get a deal, and you are getting a deal. No, I will not and he went and put them back and left in a huff. But I felt good because I had stuck to my guns and I know what their value is. I personally would rather give them to my neighbor or give them to the Salvation Army thrift store and let them get some value out of it than be bullied by somebody, because that's what he was doing. He was bullying me and I wouldn't allow him to do it. When I gave in, because this guy's wife was with him on the scroll saw, he didn't know what he was doing. He broke it, and now I'm down $75 to $100, and I have to fix it or get rid of it or whatever. So once I told you guys last year on the video, stick to your guns and don't give in to these people who bully you. Literally, I went down and just so he'd leave me alone, and he and his wife, they were there for hours. It was awful. Then they came back again. Then they came because he wanted it. So they came the other day, came back. Today they were following me around. I said, fine, take this stupid thing, 75. And then they came back 2 hours later with the part broken. So I can't even put the blade on. He's like, yeah, I turned it on. The blade went black. And then he proceeded to tell me that he didn't try putting the blade on, which they were open. So I know he did. So they were just lying. He broke it. He knows he broke it. But I'm not mad at him. I'm mad at myself for giving in. So when you do a yard sale, do not give in. When you know what you have, stick with what you have and be happy with what you have. Because I did that, it was a much better yard sale. I didn't have most of the negative people. There's literally, I told you about the 2 or 3 that were negative. The rest of them, so positive, so nice. I had a lady I don't even know. She brought over frozen raspberries out of her garden for me because she knew I was here alone and that I was hot, obviously. Like, you can't really see it, but I'm so sunburned. So I made $2,221.13, and you can see it. And the thing is I got Venmo too. Everybody, I told you on the last video, everybody under 40 gives me, like, wants to Venmo, and all the old people give me my age. I'm old. I give them as old. Have those little cash envelopes, and yeah. So, and you can see most of the bills are pretty straight. There wasn't any of the folded ones or whatever. And I probably, if I went through the weekend, I probably could have, I probably could sell more because I had a lot of people texting me. So I have a Hot Wheels car set, like vintage, it has every part mint, and people want it, but they want parts. And I also have several Corningware sets and Tupperware sets that people wanted parts of, but I didn't want to break them down because I know they're more valuable as a set. So I didn't give in on those things. But like last year, I didn't give in on the tractor, and this year I made $100 on it. And the reason it hasn't sold is because shipping is $100 for that. That's why that tractor hadn't sold online, because people don't want to pay $100 and then pay the shipping. So I knew I would be able to find a buyer. I just was patient. So if you have the time to be patient at your yard sale, and if it doesn't sell at your yard sale, put it online, the local classifieds, put it on Facebook classifieds, yard sale sites. You will find a buyer. If you can see what the value is, stick with your guns, because eventually it'll pay off. Or donate it, cash write-off, whatever. Or, you know, if you just want it out of your house, just come down on the price. Most people like say yard sales aren't worth it. Now, it was awful because it rained the first day and everything got wet and I had to dry it, and it was by myself and everything. But this pays my house taxes every year. And I still have probably 30, 40 boxes of eBay stuff from 20 years ago still. All the collectibles and things. So, and my neighbors threw in some stuff, so they were able to make some money. And, you know, so just stick to your guns. Don't let people bully you. If they're being rude, just ignore them. Like that guy with the CDs and audiobooks, I just said no. I wasn't mean. I didn't say leave me alone. Just kind of don't give them the energy they're looking for. He was looking to bully me. They're bullies, and I've had that over the years, but they get less and less because I just don't engage. I just said no. I think it's a fair price, and I didn't get upset. I had quite a few older women. How much is this? And I would say, but we're in a small town and they're used to, you know, their little small town things. And so they don't understand what the value is I can get online. They're just thinking, well, gosh, it only costs, you know, 60 cents to you, but that was 30 years ago when I bought it. So, and it was antique then. So, it was a really good sale. I'm so grateful. God is so good. And that little lady, I'll tell you the story with that. I have a friend who we're very close. We work together in a women's organization in our church very closely for a couple of years. And she would come over when I went to have my yard sales, knowing that I was home alone, and she'd let me go have potty breaks, and she would bring me like a fruit smoothie or something. And she passed away just a couple weeks ago. And I'm sorry, I'm trying not to cry. And she would come over like when I was done and rub my feet. And she just knew that when I needed it. She would listen to God or whatever. She would just show up when I needed her. And it wasn't like every day she would do this, and it wasn't like we're close enough that she would be in my life every day or even every week. She just kind of knew when I would need something, and she would just show up. And so today I was up all night pulling out the rest of the stuff because I really wanted to organize the eBay and get rid of the stuff that I didn't want to sell. So I had 2 hours sleep, and people showed up over an hour early. So literally the 2 hours sleep I would have gotten was interrupted by people banging and texting me because I had my phone. If I'm not out here, if I have a potty break, please text me this number. And they're like, there's a lot of people out here. And I'm like, it's an hour before the sale was even supposed to start. And when I said, well, I'll be out in a minute because I had to go to the bathroom and brush my teeth and whatever. And so every morning I would get up an hour early and I would eat breakfast, and then I would haul out the stuff that I've brought in at night, like wool items that I don't want moths to get on or something like that. So it takes me about an hour to uncover everything, pull out the bigger items. But I made sure I had a healthy breakfast and got my drink ready, and I got my little fanny pack on, and I didn't have a chance. I literally ran out there after getting dressed and going to the bathroom, washed my face, went out there, and I did not have a break until 2. There was a constant flow of people. And so even at 2, there was people that came, and then like I would come in and like try and fill up my drink, and people would show up. So even when I say a break, it was like 2 minutes or less. And I was out there, and it was 3. I hadn't eaten anything all day, and it was like 3 o'clock. It was super, super hot. And this older lady shows up. I didn't know her. And she said, we brought you a treat. And I said, what do you mean? And she's like, well, we knew you were here by yourself. We were here yesterday or whatever, and we knew you were here by yourself, and we knew you were really hot yesterday. We saw you, sweating, and we brought you some frozen raspberries. We picked them out of our garden, and we froze them for you so you would have a frozen treat. And I knew that my friend that passed away, because as I came in to go to the bathroom earlier than that, I thought, I wish my friend was still around, because she would bring me a treat. And even when I'm hot, I could call her and say, hey, would you bring me a drink or whatever. And so I was just missing her right before this lady showed up, because I didn't have time to get myself anything to eat or drink. I mean, even a glass of ice. I mean, I ran in and got some ice water once earlier in the day. So I had been thinking about my friend and thinking, gosh, I wish she was around. I know she would bring me a little treat and something cool to cool me down. And then this little old lady, I didn't even know her. She just brought me these raspberries frozen out of her garden and said, we saw that you were hot. We knew you'd be hot today, so we brought you these. And that just was so sweet. I was like, God is so good. He's so good for me and to me. And I know my friend was involved in doing that for me. So what a blessing. I just really feel very grateful that he and she, I know she had a hand in it, are watching out for me. I mean, I don't even know what time it is. There's people outside my house right now. I had 3 piles of free stuff because I didn't want to haul it to the secondhand store. They're closed for renovations right now. So there's people outside. I think somebody just Venmoed me, so I think they might be, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing, but somebody just Venmoed me another $10, so I made more than I thought I'd made. $232. So I don't know what she's, I don't know. She must have thought she needed to pay me more for the stuff she bought today. I had 2 friends do that today. Came back and gave me more because they didn't have enough. And I just said, oh, just take it. And they came back and gave me some more. So it was a really, really good day. That little old lady and her husband bringing me that. And I know who she is now. I know her daughter, but I didn't know who she was. She called her daughter and said she's got piano music here, and then the daughter showed up and she goes, she's my daughter. And I was like, oh, okay, I know who she is, but she didn't know that her daughter knew me. So she was just doing it because she knew I was hot. And I'm like, I love small towns, but I know it was God. So, and I do think I'll probably sell some things in the next few days off of the yard sale sites that people will say, hey, did you sell this? Because I told people if I didn't sell it, I would mark it down, and I would take bids. So and also I got the name of several people because I didn't pull out any of the Snoopy. I didn't pull out any of the Pooh. I just didn't want to deal with all those little stuffed animals if it rained again. And I was already overwhelmed with the amount of stuff that I had, and I didn't want it to kill my grass because it was going to be out for a week. And I kept refilling the tables. As soon as anything would sell, I'd pull more boxes out and put them out. So I have people who want to come and go through the Snoopy stuff and before I list it online and stuff. So I know I'll make more than the 22, 21 or whatever that I made. But I just want to share those cute little things with you, and hopefully so people are still sending me wanting things. So anyway, I'll probably make a little bit more. But anyway, I just want to share that. And the secret really is gratitude. Just want to say, and this is me after being 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. I had people after dark with flashlights shopping. Yep, it happens every year. I don't know why they like doing that, but they do. It's kind of like a fun thing for them to come yard sale shopping at night. It's kind of a thing. I don't know. I just put more stuff out while they're shopping. I don't care. Anyway, so yay for me making enough to pay my house taxes. It's a happy day, and I made enough that I can pay my house taxes and a little bit of my car insurance. So, or not house insurance. So God is good. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a very blessed day, and I hope your yard sales are wonderful.